Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Defense Radio, the podcast. I am your host, Josh Nahosa, and I am an independent advisor representative for SWAN DFW. That stands for Sleep Well at Night, Dallas, Fort Worth. And I am here with the man who has never considered why it's called the roof of your mouth when it should most certainly be called the ceiling of your mouth because it's on the inside. It is Hector and Josh.
Yeah, it's me, and I have a ceiling in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hector is a certified financial planner, which is the top mark in our industry. Hector's been working in the financial industry since 1995.
Yeah, it's amazing.
A while.
Yep.
And he started SWAN DFW about 11 years ago now as we record this episode.
Last day of April in 2025.
Yep.
Yeah.
Today, big episode, we are talking about some dollar cost averaging, why small contributions matter consistently, why you want to do that consistently.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the episode is for those that are starting out, don't know how to start, don't have a lot of money to invest maybe. This is a good episode to start. Maybe you're already retired, and you're retired because you put money in a 401k consistently. You actually were doing dollar cost averaging. It's not so we can educate you how you did so well, but maybe you share this with somebody in your family that's getting started, maybe a son or a grandson, and never too early to start putting money away.
Yeah. Before we get into it, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe. If you're watching us on Facebook, I believe you can follow us on there. The post we're actually drawing from is something that we posted on Facebook earlier in the week as you guys are watching this. If you're on Spotify, rate us 5 stars. All the things, share it with a friend.
Yes. Get people to watch this, forward this to somebody. But did you just say that we posted something on Facebook and now we're doing a podcast about what it is that we posted? Are we actually coordinating?
We are, actually.
What an amazing thing. They said we couldn't do it.
They said it couldn't be done. People, the haters out there.
But we showed them.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's get right into it.
Okay.
Why small, consistent contributions matter. There's a bunch of reasons, but we're going to highlight just a few. And the first one is the power of compounding.
Yeah. Yeah, compound interest, Ben Franklin said, was the greatest thing that ever happened to man. Some might argue fire or electricity, and it works against you when you buy a house. When people buy a house and then they extrapolate out what those payments will be, how much you'll actually pay back for 30 years. You buy a $100,000 house and you end up paying back $300,000 in interest. People say that's outrageous. Well, maybe. But that kind of power works for you if you start putting money away, and that power of compound interest just works for you. So put it on your side, start early, put money away, and leave it alone. You'll be amazed when you get to be, in your 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I think the beauty of compounding is the longer you do it, the more it compounds.
That's right.
So if you start young, start whenever, but especially if you start young, it really works on your side 30, 40 years down the road.
Absolutely. One of the things that we do here is we don't have a minimum to start. So we want to visit with those folks that are just starting out and don't have a lot of money to start. We will put them on one of these things on the hope that when they do have a lot of money, they'll stay with us. So,
yeah. Our next point here is consistency builds discipline. You want to make your investing a habit. That'll help you keep on track. Once again, it'll help you later in life if it's just a habit that you're used to doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you get it out of your paycheck, that's why 401ks work so well. To be a good American, one of the tests is you need to spend every single dollar that's available to you in your paycheck. I don't know how that law came into being, but it seems like most of us do. So if you can get the money out of your paycheck and into an investment and and you're going to live on whatever you bring home, right? And that's not a bad thing if you've already taken care of putting money aside for the future. So and once you start doing it, it does become a habit and you don't miss it anymore. I started in the business doing 401ks for the state of Texas called Texas Saver, and there was no match, and there's still no match. And so I used to tell people, look, if you put $100 a month away, the first month, you're going to feel it. You're going to look at your check and go, man, it's like almost $100 short. It's going to be not that much because taxes and stuff. But anyway, about $100 short. The second month, you'll notice it, but it's not going to be a big deal. But by the third month, your spending has adjusted, and now you're saving money and still living a really good lifestyle.
Yeah. Our third point here is that it reduces market timing stress. And Hector has a nifty presentation that he has spent literal seconds on, making look professional, with all sorts of explosions and stuff that I'm not sure will make it in the final video, but just know there are fireworks and explosions and sound effects that he worked very hard on for about 90 seconds.
Well, a little bit longer than that, but yeah. So here is a person who's going to invest $100 a month, and he's going to invest it in a mutual fund, because that's most of the time that's where you do it. And the mutual fund is going to be at one value, and then you're going to see it drop dramatically, and then you're going to see it come back, and we'll see what happens. So we put $100 a month into the investment, whether it's an IRA or a 401k, and the shares of this are costing $50 a share. So when you put $100 in and you spend $50 a share, you're going to get 2 shares. When you next month you put $100, now this is where the market has crashed. Things are really bad. So the share price now is $25. If you're going to sell what you bought last month here, that would be a bad thing, but you're not, because you're being consistent and you're putting money away from long haul. So your $100 comes in, it buys at $25, and of course this time you're going to buy 4 shares. The very next month, you still put your 100 in. The market has caught up. It was a very sharp drop and big comeback.
Yeah.
So it's back to $50. So we started at $50 and we're ending at $50. But this time again, you've put $100 in. It costs $50. You're going to buy 2 shares. So our total investment was $300. Put $100 a month. The cost per share at the end of the quarter was $50 a share, and we bought 8 shares, 2, 4, and 2. So we have 8 shares. But 8 shares at $50 a share is, that's really pretty, $400 in value, even though we only put $300 into this investment, and the price per share never went up. It started at 50, it went down and came back at 50. And where we made the money is at the $25. When that big slide happened and we bought those things on sale, that's how we take the stress out of dollar cost averaging. The investment stress is because you're putting money in, you're buying fewer when the market is high, and you're buying way more when the market is low. So, moral of the story, start early, be consistent, and start putting money away. And if every year you can bump that by 1% or something, it'll be a good thing.
Yeah. This would be a great time to say, if you're not watching somewhere, maybe rewind a couple of minutes, go find it, because the visuals will help.
Yeah. Without the visuals, it's a little tough. But it's something that I started doing a long time ago, and it's just real easy to follow. So there you go.
So the next one here, time multiplies growth. The sooner you start, the more potential your investments have to grow, no matter how small your contributions are.
Yeah. Again, one of the things, obviously, we don't make as much money as somebody who's all they have is $50 or $100 a month. But we want to teach them, we want to coach them, and we want them to be financially literate, and we want them to be financially successful. So we're investing in them as they invest in themselves. We should tagline that. Yeah. Well, that was very good. I'm glad we got it recorded.
Somebody clip that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Even investing like $50 or $100 a month, as you can, and ramping that up. over time, that adds up.
You'll end up with way more money.
Yeah, just adds up over time. We have a real world example that we posted on Facebook. Again, you can go find that post. It says, imagine investing $100 a month with 7% annual average return. Is 7% a lot of average return? Is that like an obnoxious number?
No, it would be. It wouldn't be a CD, but a nice, 50% in stocks, 50% in bonds, portfolio pretty conservative. I think you'll be all right. I think we could get you 7.
So obviously it's not a guarantee, and that would be average over, in this example, 30 years.
Yeah.
In 30 years, your total contributions would be $36,000, and it would grow to be over $120,000 without having done anything on your part besides investing $100 a month. We talk a lot about paying your later self, and your later self thanking your current self, or your current self thanking your past self. This would be a good example of it. Because you can, without a whole lot of effort, that's maybe 2 times, 3 times a month less of eating out or not stopping at Starbucks 1 time a week, and you just throw all of that into a fund, you wind up with $120,000 in 30 years. And I almost promise you will not remember that Starbucks cup of coffee in 30 years.
That's right. Unless you end up in the hospital or something. It's not going to be good. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And the best time to start planning for retirement or putting money away was 5 years ago. Unless you're like 14, then that would be hard.
Yeah.
But if you didn't do it 5 years ago, the second best time is today. Because if you don't do it today, in 5 years, you're going to say, should have started it 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's all we have on consistent contributions, dollar cost averaging. If you guys have questions about any of that, we have a phone number and email address that you guys can reach us at. The email address is info@swandfw.net. And our phone number is 888-SWAN-DFW. That is 888-792-6339. Again, both of those will be on the screen or in the description, wherever it is you are watching or listening. And that's, any help with 401ks, retirement planning, any financial questions, it's free to call, no obligation. We're not trying to trick you into anything. Just trying to educate you, make you feel better about your retirement.
And the reason you want to get a hold of us is because we just showed you what 7% in an investment would be at $100 a month. But if you had taken that same $100 a month and invested into like a CD or a money market and gotten 3%, instead of $120-something thousand, you'd end up with $58,000. So not only starting early, not only putting money away, but also investing wisely. And give us a call. We won't charge you anything for a little information and help you get started.
Yeah. So let's move on to a business news story.
Okay.
Of the week. This came out. This is a Jeff Bezos-backed company.
That's
but
Amazon, yeah?
Jeff Bezos does own Amazon. That is true.
And the Washington Post.
I believe that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly Amazon is what you would know him for, probably.
Okay.
That's the real famous one. He has a new auto company. It's called Slate Auto, and it's an electric car/truck company.
Slate almost has all the same letters as Tesla.
Yeah. Interesting. But anyway, they promise to be able to deliver cars in 2027.
It's only in 2 years.
Yep. For about $25,000 per car for a base model.
That's pretty good.
So that would be
all electric. 25,000 base, and then you can
add stuff to that. You can trick it out. Obviously, as you start to do that, the cost goes up, as you would expect. But yeah, $25,000 for an electric truck. No real bells or whistles on that, but it is an electric truck. It drives. They said they wanted to make it affordable for families, because I think you just bought a truck.
Yeah, and I like the way they did that, is because you will add what you want to add to it These are going to be, sounds like they're going to be like custom made for you. So you tell them exactly what you want in it. I was in the market for a truck for like since October, whatever that is. That's like 6 months, because there was a certain package that I wanted, but I didn't want all the extra stuff. And they always try to put them together. So here you get what it is that you want and what you need. I think that's just an awesome idea.
Yeah. It says the standard range would be about 150 miles, so nothing too crazy. But
not something you'd want to take a trip on.
Sure, but like a day-to-day.
Oh, yeah, but driving around, go to work, go to the grocery store, take the kids to school. You may not have enough power to go get the kids from school, but hey, that's
why
a school's problem.
That's why you would buy a second truck for as cheap as it is.
But yeah, you power it up at home, take the kids to school, come back, power it up, or 150 miles is actually further than you think.
Yeah.
For driving around town. So yeah, I think that's going to be awesome.
I think so. It's expected to bring about 2,000 jobs to Warsaw, which I believe is a city in Indiana.
I thought that was in Poland. Oh, that ain't good.
Nope. Indiana. So it's American-made electric car for $25,000. You can trick it out. You can put whatever skin you want on the outside. They have a picture of like a leopard print one.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you can either do a truck or an SUV. You can decide, but it's all the same. Yeah.
How about that?
So you can pop like a back on. You can add like a back row, or if you don't want that, it's just a bed. However, so
brilliant,
very customizable.
Yeah, I like that. And for $25,000 for a brand new car, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. So good for him.
Yeah, so just thought that was interesting, something to share because people were talking about it.
And by 2027, maybe the self-driving thing will have come even further, and that'll be even better. But yeah, still $25,000 for an electric vehicle. Great job.
Yeah. So I believe that's all that we have for you guys this week.
Thank you for tuning in. Share this with somebody, and we will see you next week.
Yep. The preceding content is informational only and based on information available when created. It is not an offer or solicitation, nor is it tax or legal advice. It does not consider your financial circumstances and objectives and may not be suitable for you.